As the new Puritanism sweeps our country, we learn today that the Formula One grid girls are all to lose their jobs. That's right, they're all to be sacked. And there's a very interesting response from Lauren Jade, and she appeared on This Morning. And she says this: because of these feminists, they've cost us our jobs. I've been a grid girl for 8 years, and I've never felt uncomfortable. I love my job. If I didn't, I wouldn't do it. No one forces us to do this. This is our choice. Well, I'm very sorry, Lauren, but you've lost your job. And the darts girls have also lost their jobs. And all of this because a handful of drunken, excessive city people behave loutishly at a stag dinner. And because of that, we are to tell thousands of women that they are going to lose their jobs. Nobody can be pretty. No doubt pretty women will be banned from adverts in future, and Oliver Cromwell will be back in charge of the country. It is...
Formula One's former Supremo, Bernie Ecclestone, says something of the sport will be lost following the decision to end the long-standing practice of using grid girls. The move mirrors the Professional Dart Corporation's decision to end the practice of women escorting male players onto the stage. Well, joining me now from Lincoln is grid girl and model Eleanor Hinton. Eleanor, do you think something will be lost with this?
I think so. I think it's giving girls and women less of an opportunity. For myself, I'm a car enthusiast, and being at a race and being involved is something that I feel very grateful for, and I think many other girls feel like that. So I think it's a shame that they're not going to be involved anymore. I
can almost hear the howl from some sections of society that'll say, well, if you like racing, perhaps you should be driving, or perhaps you could be an engineer.
That for myself isn't possible because I've got a few conditions that limit me from being able to do that. And also, I think it's just the girls like to be involved with the other girls and things like that. It's like you get a lot of friendships through it as well.
So it's a good job, is what you're saying?
Yes, it's very enjoyable. I've had other jobs, one being a photographer and a sales assistant and things like that, and I've been treated better and given more opportunities within this industry rather than those industries.
Would you just explain that a bit? Because a lot of people will say that you know, this belongs to a bygone age, putting women on show, serving no other purpose than gratification for male people in the audience who, at the time, haven't got a race to watch.
No, I don't really agree with that. As myself, we almost get treated like VIPs, if that makes sense, while we're there. When I've had previous other jobs, I don't know how to explain it. You're not given the amount of responsibilities that I could do with myself, whereas through the grid girl and things like that, I've been able to move up and get to better opportunities.
I wanted to ask you about that because you're appearing on a very public stage, you're appearing on television, and presumably that's a great opportunity to pursue a career.
Possibly, but my main aim is to try and show a different perspective on the jobs, because I don't think it's fair currently, as there's not our point of view on it. It's just everybody else's sort of outside point of view, and I think it's important that we show that we enjoy doing the job, we get treated fairly, and yeah, that's basically it, really.
Yeah. Eleanor, what's the brief when you arrive at a racing circuit before everybody else, and the briefing goes on? How is the job described to you? What's expected of you?
It varies job to job. For example, I'll just use one. When we get there, we obviously get given the sponsorship outfits that we have to wear, and sort of given a timeline of what's going to happen throughout the day. I also do charity collection at some of the events, so that is actually one of the main things that we do, and a small percentage of the time is actually spent on the grid.
I'm going to be talking later on to Beverly Turner. She's a former ITV presenter who's been very vocal on this. She wrote 15 years ago that the era of grid girls should have passed away long ago. What's your argument to her? Because she makes the point that, you know, we're now in 2018 and this is a job that no longer has a place in modern motor racing, and it would now seem that the industry agrees.
I can slightly see where they're coming from, but from my point of view, it is something that has helped me immensely. It's helped me with my confidence, and it also makes me feel very empowered, and I think that's something that other girls feel. And without doing these jobs, as well as modelling, I don't think that I would have blossomed into the person I am today.
So what's behind this decision, do you think?
I think it's opinions from others that may not see the whole picture. And I think it would be interesting to have like a discussion with somebody on the other point of view.
Well, Eleanor, it's really good to talk to you. Eleanor Hinton, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Hi, I'm Rebecca Jackson. I'm a racing driver, TV presenter and motoring journalist, for those that do not know me. I have been on several radio stations this morning and yesterday evening speaking about grid girls. And much to a few people's surprise, I am actually in favour of grid girls. And the reason for that is because I believe that the modern woman should have a choice, and that's certainly the direction that we were going in, and I think this is a backward step. And the reason why I think it's a backward step is because we are taking the choice away from these women. So these women, girls who have chosen to be grid girls are now having that choice taken away from them. And really, the idea of feminism, if you want to call it that, is that women have the choice to be who and what they want to be without judgment, least of all judgment from other women. And yes, it is a glamorous sport, and therefore glamorous women are involved, but also glamorous men should be invited, and that would be true equality. I believe that if there were men and women as grid people, then it would be true equality. But I definitely don't think it's a good idea to completely remove them. And the idea that women are being objectified is also a ridiculous notion, because, okay, people like looking at them, men like looking at them, some of the girls, actually a lot of the girls like looking at them. People like beautiful people, whether they are male or female. And the women that are doing it do not feel objectified. If they didn't want to do it, they wouldn't do it. That's the whole point. That's the whole point of having choice. And beautiful people are going to sell products the world over. And I don't think that's going to change anytime soon. Look at perfume adverts, look at clothing adverts, look at watch adverts. Every kind of advert you can think of almost has beautiful people in it. It's just the way the world works. And also the grid girls have got advertising on them. And just like my race suit is covered in my sponsors. So Denso was my title sponsor last year. And so my race suit is covered in sponsorship, sponsor stickers, sponsor embroidered patches, so that sponsors can get their exposure in motorsport. And it's business. And what were the other points? So, inspiring the future generation. So I believe that we should be inspiring the future generation, and the future generation should know that they can choose. That's the whole point. You can choose, girls. You can choose whether you want to be a doctor or a nurse or an engineer or a grid girl or a racing driver or a leader of a business. Or perhaps you don't want to work. Perhaps you would like to be a full-time mother and housewife. There is no judgment. That's the whole point. There is no judgment, and there should be a choice for all women and all girls to be who and what they want to be. And that's why I'm in favour of grid girls.
As the new Puritanism sweeps our country, we learn today that the Formula One grid girls are all to lose their jobs. That's right, they're all to be sacked. And there was a very interesting response from Lauren Jade, and she appeared on This Morning. And she says this: because of these feminists, they've cost us our jobs. I've been a grid girl for 8 years, and I've never felt uncomfortable. I love my job. If I didn't, I wouldn't do it. No one forces us to do this. This is our choice. Well, I'm very sorry, Lauren, but you've lost your job. And the darts girls have also lost their jobs. And all of this because a handful of drunken, excessive city people behave loutishly at a stag dinner. And because of that,